Hello and welcome, wine club members out there. I am going to introduce to you the red category of our global selection. For those who have been members of the Global Wine Club for a little while, I think you've had a bit of a tour of the world. We were just in Spain, I believe. We did Italy before that. I think we went to the land down under, did a bit of Australia. So I thought it was time to come back to the good old US of A. Considering we do some pretty good wines where we're at. So the focus here is red. I thought, one of the best grapes that the U.S. is doing at the moment, specifically in the region we're going to talk about, which is Napa Valley, California, is, you guessed it, Cabernet. First wine that I'm going to have for you is one that some of you football fans out there might notice. It's called Four Bears. With football season right around the corner, I was feeling very patriotic, and with a patriotic sport like football, I thought Four Bears was the perfect wine. So this is Four Bears Cabernet from the 2003 vintage, Napa Valley. It is one on a lot of fronts. We'll get right to what it's going to smell like, but on a lot of fronts, I think is going to offer you good value for money. Let's give it a nose and see what we think. This wine really jumps out in its fruit profile. Typical, I suppose, of New World Cabernet, specifically out of Napa Valley. This wine just really screams really ripe red plums, red currant, a bit of black cherry, really jump out of the glass. Let's see what it's like on the palate. On the palate, it really follows through, but it's a bit more fleshy than the nose led you to believe, in that it's, kind of the skin, I suppose, of black plum. You bit into the juicy component of the black plum, and you're left with the skin in the mouth, and that's kind of the profile I'm getting here, because it's a quite substantial Cabernet, particularly for its price point. As Cabernets go, my expectation on them is to be, medium plus in tannin and full bodied, and this definitely delivers. It's full bodied, and I would put it at medium plus with its tannin profile. The secondary notes I get on this are a bit of coffee. It's got some espresso to it, a bit of dusty white pepper kind of in the way background, and then obviously it's coupled with the fresh fruit that you get right up front. The regular retail on this wine is $15.99. You wine club members obviously get a special rebuy price, which is $14.39, which all in all I think is a screaming value for any Napa Cabernet, let alone one called Four Bears in the city of Chicago, for those who live in Chicago, and one that's at this flavor profile and balance. I really think an overall good value. The second wine I have for you is a bit of a trade-up from the first Cabernet, but we're going to stay in the Cabernet family. So this is a bit of a fun flight that I did intentionally, because you get the opportunity to compare price points. A lot of times people ask, does price really matter? Does a $100 Cabernet really taste 10 times better than a $10 Cabernet? Well, ultimately only you can be the judge of that, and there's a lot of other factors that goes into determining prices. This wine for sure is worth more than the first wine, based on the flavor profile I think it delivers. So let's give it a go. This wine is the 2003 Fisher Vineyard Cameron Cabernet. Fisher is pretty well known for making some pretty top-end single vineyard Cabernets and blends. They make wine called Coach Insignia, which always gets some pretty big scores. The Cameron Vineyard, I think, is relatively new for them. It's named after their youngest son, Cameron, which naturally ties into why it comes from their youngest vineyards. Those who are a bit of wine geeks might say, well, young vineyards might mean not the greatest Cabernet in the world, and I think we're going to prove you wrong when we give this wine a taste, so why don't we? On the nose, you'll note that while there is still a fresh, ripe fruit component right up front, there is a more complex character kind of coming through right from the get-go. There's more than just fruit. There's certainly a secondary component of spice and definitely some earth there. There's definitely fruit. It's a New World Cabernet, and there's no hiding that. But where the Four Bears was really up front and kind of jumped out of the glass, this is a little more subdued, and it wants you to think a little more about what this wine's all about. The fruit profile to this is deeper, it's richer, it's got more concentration. It definitely pushes more of the dark end of the spectrum with more kind of black currant, black plum. It's young. There's a bit of anise, kind of a savory earth component. The tannins are there, but they seem youthful. This probably could use a little more time in the bottle or a little decanting to really allow itself to open up, but I can tell from the density of it that it's definitely a big wine that could use a big, bold ribeye steak. One of my favorite preparations would be get a nice prime cut of ribeye, bit of sea salt, crushed black pepper, olive oil, seared on the grill to rare to medium rare, and pour a glass of this, and I think you really will see a magical pairing. The regular price on this wine is $39.99, which I think is quite a good value for a Cabernet from Napa Valley of this caliber. The special rebuy price for the Wine Club members is, I believe, $33.49, which is even better deal. We don't have a lot of it, so if you are interested in purchasing some Fisher Cameron Cabernet, get in the store soon.